Week 1, Thursday kickoff, August 29th, Boulder, Colorado. North Dakota State travels down from Fargo? Maybe, possibly. Don't have that one off the top of my head. Down to Boulder to take on the Buffaloes. Bison and Buffaloes. This is kind of a trendy upset pick, or at least the conversation has taken place in which, well, you got to be scared about North Dakota State. And look, it is foolish for any program, let alone a rebuilding one, to schedule North Dakota State. I can hold that opinion and also hold the opinion that Colorado is going to be just fine here. They're going to be absolutely positively fine. The point spread, according to our friends at FanDuel, is Colorado minus 8.5. Now, for those who are unaware of why an FCS program has a point spread in Boulder of under 10, North Dakota State has historically been the Alabama of FCS football. If you go look at the national championship winners, they've been overtaken in the last couple of years by the back-to-back defending champs, South Dakota State, who traveled to Stillwater to play Oklahoma State this year. Good luck with that one. Good luck. Anyway, just thought I would mention that. If you go look at the national champions, there's a lot of North Dakota State in there. A couple of years ago, when Jed Fish was rebuilding Arizona, North Dakota State went into Tucson and almost beat Arizona. They did not. They did not beat them in that 2022 season. But boy, they were close. They were mighty close. And so, as a result, what I look at in this game is, okay, yeah, there's a possibility. Vegas is not setting that 8.5 point line for no reason. And when you see that line of 8.5 points, you can't look at it the same way you would in the NFL. College is different. You see more double-digit underdogs win outright in college football way more often than you do in the NFL. But I think that for Colorado, they are winning this game. And right now, put a gun to my head and make me have a selection here, I'd go Colorado minus 8.5. Because what's easy to forget about Colorado, there are two things. Number one, they were a better football team with Deion Sanders at the helm and Shedeur Sanders at quarterback. They're working in a new offensive coordinator, but still, of that magic trio I talk about regularly on the show, coach, offensive coordinator, quarterback, how many of those do you bring back can often determine, though not always, how much I like your team. You got two of them here. And better yet, those two are going into their third season together. So when you look at what Colorado is capable of doing here, they could blow the doors off North Dakota State. They could also run into some problems because North Dakota State, I don't know what their offseason moves have been. I talk college football on the show every single day. Can't say I dive into the FCS quite as much. I haven't really yet. This is the most I've mentioned them, to be honest. But I don't see Colorado losing this game because, number one, they were better than last year. Number two, they're going to be better this year. Vegas thinks so. Their preseason win total is 2 games higher than it was a year ago. I think so. I predicted them to go 3-9 last year. They went 4-8 instead. I've got them at 6-6, 7-5, in that sort of range right now. That sort of team is not losing to an FCS team at home. Now, last year, it wasn't FCS, but it felt like it because Oklahoma State was blasted off the field into oblivion by South Alabama. But even that was a Group 5 team, not an FCS team. And this Colorado team, here's a third thing that it's really easy to forget. They've lost a bunch of talent. They've added a bunch of talent. And they have addressed their weaknesses incredibly well. They have brought in players to Colorado that are of a certain caliber who would never consider North Dakota State unless they wanted to go be the absolute positive man, even for the Bison, which have been a historically great FCS program. So you have guys that are coming over from various power institutions to play for Colorado this year. Their trenches game last year was atrocious. And that's going to be on full display because North Dakota State has been a power running team. They have been a power running team, and what could Colorado not do last year? They couldn't stop the run. They could not stop the run. But there have been a lot of transfers into this program on the defensive side of the ball. Guys like Ray and Buell who are coming over from Ohio, or Dayan Hayes from Pitt. Like, there are a lot of names. There are a lot of names. The BJ Green edition from Arizona State is probably my favorite one, because I think BJ Green is a really well-rounded football player. I just look at what Colorado has, and there are so many options, so many guys that are available to play that weren't a season ago, that I think are going to be better than what they had last year. So my data points on Colorado, I know for some it's hard to have a measured, reasoned conversation about the Buffs. I do my very best to accomplish that consistently, whatever the news story may be. Here's what we know. They were a better team last year when this core, Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and company, took over. So we know that there is something there. This is not the 2022 Colorado team. We also know that they have some key returners, and they also have brought in a lot of talent in a way that has addressed their needs. Now, their inability to stop the run last year was on full display in that game against Oregon. But if they have truly improved, if they have got guys that are actually going to make a tangible difference, you'll see it in this game. Because they will face run games this year that are less potent than what North Dakota State puts on the field year in and year out. And guess what? They're going to line up and they're going to play old school power football. It's going to look like their own version of Michigan, or the Jim Harbaugh Stanford teams, or Iowa, or any team that just wants to line up and run power football. That's North Dakota State. They're not running all sorts of gimmicks and tricks. Nope, they are just going to run you over, or at least attempt to do so. And so that'll be the first thing that gets tested. Here's the second thing that gets tested in that game for Colorado: the offensive line. Because that was arguably worse than the defense last year. I don't know. I don't know. Colorado fans, you tell me in the comment section below, what was worse, the defense or the offensive line? Neither one was good. I expect both to be better. So when you have talented players on the perimeter, when you have an NFL caliber quarterback, what you then need to do is bulk up your team. Well, on paper, it looks like they've done that. So if you're capable of just being a 500 team, I don't expect you to have any problem with North Dakota State. And this is going to be an important game for Colorado. Don't make no mistake about it. And here's a narrative that I hope doesn't get pushed, because this would be incredibly dishonest. If going into the game you hear buzz about Colorado upset alert, gotta watch out for North Dakota State, what if the Bison go in there big, and then Colorado beats them by 25, I don't want to see anybody flipping around and saying, well, they should have won the game. They're 8.5-point favorite. They covered the spread. Congratulations. Didn't win anything. Like, no, I'm just going into it with, yeah, could happen, but I'm not in that sort of mindset, because Colorado has improved. And if you are an FBS team and you are on the upward trajectory, there's nothing any FCS team can do. There is a gap. That's just a reality. You know it. I know it. They know it. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. And Colorado, I think, has done enough on paper to make me believe they're not on serious upset alert there. And now that I've recorded this segment, you know what? I think they are going to cover that 8.5-point spread. Give me Colorado by like 17 points. And if they win that game by 17 points, it'll be a solid start to the year. Everybody will be watching. It'll be a Thursday. You'll have other FCS, FBS games, like Utah is going to play Southern Utah, but the eyeballs are going to be on Boulder, as they often are.